picked it up, and since then it's been observed in certainly both those places, London and Halifax, and one or two other places around the world. The focus, the stimulus for Denver's personal interest in this whole thing is a vision he was given by a professor of history and anthropology from the University of the West Indies a few years ago. And that image is called the Highway of Bones. The Highway of Bones. The understanding being that during the transatlantic slave trade, we lost 2 million of our ancestors that were thrown overboard as, for one reason or another, and that, bearing in mind that this lasted for over 300 years, the ships going back, coming across. And over that time, the sharks in the Atlantic Ocean got to understand that those ships were a source of continuous food. And so it was that the sharks used to loiter in the harbors in West Africa, just waiting for the slave ships to take off. And once they take off for the Americas, for the West, the sharks will just trail the ships, eating our ancestors, making a meal of our ancestors all the way to the Atlantic. So to the Americas. So that really got my imagination, and it hasn't left me ever since. It's something that it's hard to imagine, and yet it's with me 24/7, trust me. Now, the thing about the ancestors is that usually when it's in human nature, and even in some animals, when we lose a relative or friend, we mourn that person, and we give them a dignified funeral and burial. But those 2 million of our ancestors that were lost in the Atlantic, to the best of my knowledge, have not been properly buried, quote unquote, consecrated or honored. So that's the reason why we do this. It's for those 2 million souls, the Atlantic, but also for those that we lost on the Sahara Desert in the Arab slave trade, which actually is significantly more than 2 million. So that's what this is all about. It's a question of letting them know that they're not forgotten, and to honor their sacrifice on our behalf, because for some of them, the situation was so bad on the ships that some of them that we lost, they chose to jump overboard rather than endure the type of incarceration that was taking place. Now, in terms of slavery, yes, it happened, and it was over by towards the end of the 19th century. At least the chains were broken. But really, it has continued in one form or another to this day. And hopefully, for our children's sake, we will really confront this whole phenomenon and do something about it, not only in terms of commemoration once a year, but in terms of really being conscious of doing something, initiatives, programs, what have you, to finally completely free us 100% from all its vestiges. So that's a bit of a long introduction, but I can only do my best. I wish J.S. Demba was here in person. So with that, I throw it open to others who might have comments on the subject of not only our ancestors, what our ancestors faced in slavery, but also the things that are of significance that have happened right up to this day, right up to the George Floyd incident and the I Can't Breathe and the Black Lives Matter. So there you go.
We can't hear you, Ifo.
I forgot I was muted. I was saying I believe we can move forward without waiting for some that are not interested in moving forward. I think we have it's a small group, but sometimes powerful group of people who are deeply committed and invested in the impoverishment of Africans all over the globe. In fact, some people profit from this. And while it would be nice for us to wait for those people who are profiting from our destruction to decide that they want to stop profiting from it, I think that if we unify and start to work with those who are most negatively affected by these issues, we can have a mass movement of people who are conscious, and then we can actually force those who are figuring out which way the wind is blowing to join. But I don't think that some people with vested interests are going to join us or are going to join the struggle for Pan-Africanism without a serious push from the masses. I think that's what history has taught us. Yeah. I see Sister Bernadette turning on her videos. That mean you want to say something? Or you just want us to see your lovely face? That's awesome.
Just turned on video off and on. I'm in between a few calls, so I'm participating and listening. Good to see everybody, those that I can see. Nice to hear everybody. Great conversation.
Welcome, sister.
This is Lynn, and I'd like to piggyback on a couple of questions, including the last one about measuring progress. What are we actually doing, and also how we join all the different efforts. In this time of Black Lives Matter, if anything that it's really pointed out to me is that the grassroots work that we've been doing over the years does pay off. Like, people are listening, even though we don't realize it. Because when I looked at even just locally in Halifax, the number of people, the thousands that attended the Black Lives Matter movement, and as I thought about protests that we held over the years when there were just like a dozen people sometimes at the protest, but yet the movements today were recalling things that we had raised with them, and all of a sudden they had taken the torch. And a lot of the young people and others had taken the torch and used that grassroots work to do what they were doing, what they're doing today. So I don't think that we should be discouraged by numbers, but rather we should be encouraged by the message that we are delivering, which is so important. So I thank Brother Dimba for taking on this task and providing leadership. I also believe, as Sister Daphne raised, that it's important that we do join with each other, which brings me to my question around how is or has African Holocaust connected with some other related movements? And I'm thinking of Sister Wanda Thomas Bernard and her efforts regarding Emancipation Day acknowledgement by the Canadian government, her quest to have it acknowledged. I'm thinking also about the work that we're doing in terms of the reparations in that movement and the recent petition that we're hoping to have presented in the September parliamentary system. And I'm also thinking of efforts, for example, around Africville and the colored home, which all connects to what we're here for today. So again, with what Sister Daphne said, how do we connect that? Like, how do we make efforts to realize that what we're all doing is for our own liberation?
I think part of it is awareness and also actually connecting with the different with the with there, as you said, there are various different African groups that are working on related issues, and we need to talk to each other more, and we need to connect more, so we can have, as Daisy said, have a unified voice. We don't have the Black United Front anymore, but we can be a virtual Black United Front and connect both virtually and, when COVID allows, in person. Those are my reflections on that.
Yeah, I think partnership is also another way to go. Partnering with the different Black organizations, being part of different activities, let it stand out, like the Holocaust, what's the name again? You know, it should always be there in every Black organization or activity. So we partner, we make ourselves known, you know, we involve the youth, we, you know, try to reach out more, let us be known, let them know what the message is, and let them know we are one. And, you know, just be part of the community, not like a once a year thing. You know, once a year in August, we all meet, and then it's quiet until another August comes around, you know. So for growth and for recognition, we need to integrate. We need to be part of other African organizations. We need to let our voices heard. We need to let the youth know about us. We need to have more activities over the year, you know. So that's my own contribution. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, Mrs. Durian, I think I do agree in terms of growth. I do also agree with the previous speaker, I think it was Sister Lane, she talked about the message. That is true. But what I also know, I mean, speaking of growth, politics is about numbers. And this is why we actually need to grow. Now, the Black Lives Matter have given us a platform. How do we continue to engage, I mean, others who join us, continue to join us? Because the more, I think, the merrier. So it is important to actually grow the numbers, to be able to confront or approach or speak with the politicians or those in authority, to be able to make a difference. I think that is very important.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
good. I just, if I can just come in here, I just want to commend Dr. Lynn Jones. Can you hear me, Dr. Lynn Jones?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to commend you on the work that you've been doing with reparations for quite many years now. It seems that finally the world is beginning to take note that reparations has to be a going concern. So I really want to commend you, not only for you've been on the cause for many years, but particularly on this point of reparations. And I single out reparations because, as J.S. Demba would say, some things they owe us, and some things we owe ourselves. Okay? Now, slavery impoverished us. It impoverished Africa, and it impoverished us materially all over the world. The prosperity of the Americas and of Europe came out of the sweat and blood and talent of our ancestors. So some things they owe us, and certainly in terms of reparations, they owe us big time. Another thing that they owe us is dignified treatment. But some things, when I say dignified treatment, I mean something like what happened to George Floyd, and all the brutalization and all the injustices, or the disproportionate meting out of justice that sees our people incarcerated at a very much higher percentage than the other groups, with possibly the exception of the First Nations. So some things they owe us, but some things we owe ourselves. And the crux of what we owe ourselves is our humanization, because slavery over centuries was designed to dehumanize us, okay? And there are various aspects of our dehumanization that we have to dismantle or repair or reconstruct. And they can't do that for us. You know, only us can validate us, you know. And one of the problems of not having those two things clear in our minds is that quite often we run to them to look for validation, for them to validate us. That can't be done. We have to validate ourselves.
Yeah, what you said reminded me of that famous quote from Marcus Garvey about we must emancipate ourselves from mental slavery and only we can free our minds. Yeah. And I think that is part of what we are all collectively doing is to free our minds.
Yeah.
Yes, so that our compass can be aligned properly. And as you said, we will judge and value our efforts based on Afrocentric principles, not on the principles of those who came to destroy us.
Yes, Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley.
Yes.
The freeing of the mind. Listen,
Daphne, you are muted, by the way.
Yeah, I am conscious of talking loud. The reason being is that you're coming across on my laptop. Maybe it's the laptop, but I can barely hear you, everyone. So that's making me talk loud. Am I shouting? Am I talking too loud? Can I modulate my voice?
I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
You're coming strong and loud and clear. We can feel the energy and the power.
Well, listen, I don't want to expend any more energy than is necessary, because the store is not as well stocked as you think.
Okay. Yes.
I'm just wondering, like Sizwe, he talked about Dr. Lane's work, which I have never heard of. I may be mistaken. So in all of this, is there a way of forming an umbrella organization in terms of what we intend to do and what we intend to achieve, and then we have subdivisions, around the world?
I believe there is already an umbrella group called is it DPAD, Lynn? And we also have Vanessa Fells here.
DPAD is decade. Is it? Vanessa Fells, that's Auntie Bernadette can talk more on DPAD for us, because the decade for African people or something.
Yes.
Over to you, Bernadette.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said. I was actually pouring some water for tea.
No, we wanted to talk more on DPAD.
Oh, okay.
The question, Bernadette, was the need for an umbrella organization to address all the different concerns that we've been raising. And someone mentioned DPAD.
Okay, so I'm the admin support for DPAD, but it's certainly an integral part of it. It's just Vanessa and I, two people, but that run that we're the administrative body of it, but we have a membership of over 100 organizations and people. So DPAD stands for the Decade for People of African Descent Coalition. And it was formed back in 2013 from a meeting of the United Nations coming to Halifax, wanting to know what was happening in the African Nova Scotian community, what organizations were existing and what their mandate was and how they were doing things. And from that meeting, the 13 to 15 organizations that were there decided, let's come together and form, since it's the decade for people of African descent, let's form an organization and work together. So that's where DPAD was born from there. So in 20...
Can I just stop there? Because I think it's really important that people recognize that DPAD's not really an organization, it's a coalition.
A coalition, yes.
To people.
It's a coalition of members and organizations. So they come, everybody works independently, but we come together for the common good of solving issues around African Nova Scotian and people of African ancestry. So thank you, Lynn, for that. So in 2017, 2018, Vanessa was hired as a program coordinator, and in 2019, sorry, we're 2020 now, I came along as the admin. So we actually have funding from Office of African Nova Scotian Supports to have an office across from the Black Cultural Center in the Akuma Annex. So our main goal is to, again, advocate for people of African ancestry on issues. The biggest thing you would know would be the street checks. When that was brought to our attention, that, one out of 9 people, people of African ancestry were being stopped 9 times more than whites or any other race. And so DPAD pushed for that. The street ban came, but we're still dealing with street checks still going on. So DPAD continues to work on that. DPAD has 4 working groups, the Community Services Working Group. We were able to help secure Winnie Grant in her position as a Black advisor to Department of Community Services at the management level. We supported and advocated for a position there. And she was moving in that realm anyway, but with DPAD coming behind, I'm sure that we helped to enforce that. The Justice Strategy Working Group is working on many justice issues, street checks. The issue down in Chester right now, Lynn Jones or herself had the issue driving, being Black while watching deer, or I forget the saying of it, Lynn, now, but the issue in Truro, and then Truro having their own issues, and Windsor's had stuff. So if communities invite us in, it's like the UN, if you get invited in to help with a cause, then DPAD will come. Vanessa, as our Director of Operations now, she has pretty well aligned to every minister and every deputy minister. If a letter gets written, we don't normally get a response back because they realize that DPAD is not one person. It's a coalition of many organizations and many individuals. By the very fact that you are African ancestry, you're a member of DPAD, you just need to go onto our website, fill out a membership form. You're welcome to come to our meetings. We meet the second Thursday of every month from 2 to 4 p.m. And our agenda, again, we have the Justice Working Group. We're trying to get an African Nova Scotian policing strategy because we don't believe that the police are policing us properly nor giving us service. We're also trying to work on an African Nova Scotian Justice Institute because many of our people that are incarcerated get extended sentencing for different things. We don't feel like there's cultural assessments done properly. People stay incarcerated longer than they need to. They don't get integrated back into the community fully. We want to work with that. And then we have a youth strategy last month at our meeting. We had,
Bernadette,
yes.
Bernadette, I am sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
I should know better, but I'm just looking at the time.
No worries. You can get more about
almost,
DPAD. Come next Thursday to our meeting.
It's almost 1 p.m. And we have to do a couple of things for the ancestors. It has to be done at precisely 1 p.m.
That's right.
12 noon in Philadelphia.
No worries.
You do know that we have to honor Molefi, Dr. Molefi Asante, with our annual award, the Prosperity Award. And so we have to cut into that aspect of the program, and then after that we can pick it up at the other end, okay?
No worries. Thank you. Thank
okay,
you,
so,
Uncle.
Okay, you know I love you.
Back at you with big hugs.
Yeah.
Yes, with social distancing hugs. All right. We have about it's 12:55 now.
Okay.
We're gonna have a 2-minute of silence at 12:58, and then we're gonna have the virtual flower lunch, and then we'll move on to the award, and then we can come back to some more discussion if people want some, and then we'll close out.
So Okay, so everybody synchronize your watches.
So we have about 2 minutes.
Okay.
I can give you 2 minutes of drumming.
Sure.
And then I will pause that while I'll stream this for 2 minutes and we'll come back to that. So just one moment here. I'm just going to share the video. All right, now it's 12:58.
Okay, let's count down to exactly 1 p.m. Okay. So somebody with a good watch, you need to count me down.
I thought we were doing a minute of silence.
At precisely 1 p.m.
Oh, we'll do it at precisely 1 p.m. Oh,
Yeah, and it's 2 minutes.
My mistake. All right.
So
I stopped the drumming too early.
That's okay. Let me know when it's exactly 1 p.m.
I will let you know. I will let you know. Right now, let's see. So we're at 12:59 and 10 seconds. We welcome our newest member here, Albert. Welcome.
Okay, must be 1 p.m.
And now we're at 30 seconds. I will start the countdown when there are only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
We're 6 seconds away from 4 seconds away. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we have 2 minutes of silence.
2 minutes of silence for our ancestors.
Okay.
2 minutes is a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But I tell you, it's deliberate because we can't forget why we're here. We have to always, well, it's to focus on our ancestors.
Yeah. I
Okay, the
agree.
next point now, I'm going to pour a libation. This is COVID-19 style. Okay. It's a glass of pure spring water, and I'm just going to pour twice. The first for our transatlantic ancestors. So when I pour, you should all say Ashe, okay? When I pour,
Can we get everybody to unmute, please?
Eh?
Can we get everybody to unmute?
So you can say Ashe.
Yeah.
No, you guys are good, Uncle Sizwe. You just muted yourself. We're asking the other people to unmute.
So for our transatlantic ancestors, I pour.
Ashe.
Ashe.
For our Sahara Desert ancestors, I pour.
Ashe.
Collectively, as people of African descent all over the world, for our past, I pour.
Ashe.
Ashe.
For our present, I pour.
Ashe.
For our future, I pour.
Ashe.
Ashe. So the last bit of our ceremony is the slogan of resolve. The slogan of resolve. The slogan of resolve goes like this. You have to clap. I'll just demonstrate, and then we'll do it. No more. No, I'm just doing a demonstration, and then we'll go into it. Okay? No more. Slavery no more. Okay, so that's how it goes. It's four times no more, 4 no mores, a slight pause, and then slavery no more. Okay. And we do that 3 times. The first for slavery of the past, the second for what's going on today in today's world, that's the vestiges of slavery, and the third for the future, because we don't want it to happen anymore. Okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. No more.
No more.
Slavery no more.
Slavery no more.
No more.
Okay. Again. No more.
No more.
Slavery
No more.
Now. And again.
No more.
Slavery
no more.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That slogan was inspired by a song by an artist in the a Black artist in the United States. Can anybody guess the artist?
I wouldn't guess because I'll be cheating because you already told me.
Can anybody guess the artist? It's the jazz, well, he played all kinds of things, rhythm and blues and jazz and so on. What was he was a pianist. He was blind. He was a pianist.
Oh, Charles Ray? No?
Well, it's Ray Charles, so you're
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles,
Ray
yes.
Charles.
Yeah, Ray Charles, yeah.
Yeah.
Charles, yeah.
Remember that song?
Sing
hit
it
the
for
road,
us.
Jack.
Uncle Zizwe, sing it for us. I can't remember.
I made it. J.S. Demba made me promise that in representing him, I should put my best foot forward. Okay. So is Delvina there?
Yes. Do we do the flower after or before the?
No, the flower is done.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if everybody can see this. We have a vase of red and white flowers. And also we have a number of red and white flowers on the table. Okay. In previous years, we have done this on site at Africville Park by the harbor. And in previous years, we've placed one red rose and one white rose of flower in the water, and one red rose and one white rose on land. The one on the water is for the transatlantic ancestors, and the one on land is for the Sahara Desert ancestors. The red signifies their blood, and the white their spirit. So, but with COVID-19, this is the way we're doing it this year. So I hope you can all see them.
Can you adjust the camera? Can see the ones on the table.
Can you see them?
No.
You see we can see
the ones by Kanika we can see.
Okay, and this is the one in the vase.
Yes, that one we can see.
You can see that one.
Can you tilt the camera down just a little bit so we can see it just briefly? Or you can bring it up. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now it's time to honor Dr. Molefi Kete Asante. And I will turn this over to Delvina, who is going to actually receive the award on his behalf. And I think, Delvina, you're going to say a few words by way of biography, just to indicate his stature.
Good morning, afternoon now. So I want to say I'm really happy to be here participating. I wasn't able to participate last year, but in previous years at Africville I have, and I've enjoyed being able to do that. So first, I just want to acknowledge you, Uncle Sizwe, for your efforts and work to organize this event each year. And so I really appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge Sister Kanika, who's sitting with you. Good. I'd like to say hello to her. And I can't see everybody else on the call, but I guess I could say, I'm going to guess that Dr. Lynn Jones, who's been a colleague and friend and mentor to many of us, as we always like to acknowledge the, as we say, the head mother and the head father in the room. So I also acknowledge my elder, Dr. Jones, as well as brother and uncle Sizwe. So I'm very honored to be able to accept this award on behalf of our very distinguished scholar and friend to Nova Scotia, for sure, and that is Dr. Asante. And I'm going to, he prepared a wonderful bio, which I have the pleasure of reading, and I will take the time to really go through it, because as Uncle Sizwe has said, to sort of communicate his stature and what he has done in the world and why he is so deserving of this honor. So Molefi Kete Asante is an activist, intellectual, who is currently professor and chair in the Department of Africology and African American Studies at Temple University. He is also president of Molefi Kete Asante Institute for Afrocentric Studies. Asante is a guest professor at Zhejiang University in Hangzhou, China, and professor extraordinaire at the University of South Africa. Asante has written 92 books, and that just really floors me. Asante has published more than 500 articles and is considered the most published African American scholar, as well as one of the most distinguished authors in the African world. He has published 3 previous books of poetry. I'm just turning here. And he has been recognized as one of the 10 most widely cited African scholars. Asante has been recognized as one of the most influential leaders in education. He completed his MA at Pepperdine and received his PhD from the University of California, Los Angeles, at the age of 26. That's amazing. And was appointed a full professor at the age of 30 at the State University, New York at Buffalo. At Temple University, he created the first PhD program in African American Studies, and he did that in 1988. He has directed more than 125 PhD dissertations in the fields of communication and African American studies. He's the founder of the theory of Afrocentricity. He was born in Valdosta, Georgia, and from his tracing is of Sudanese, Nubian, and Nigerian Yoruba heritage. He is one of 16 children. He's married to Anna Yanenga, a Costa Rican with a Khan ancestry via Jamaica. Dr. Asante has 3 children, Mario, Eke, and MK Jr., who was born in Zimbabwe, actually. As I said, he's a poet, a novelist, a dramatist, and a painter. And he has been called one of the 100 leading thinkers in America. He regularly consults with heads of state in Africa and has become one of the most popular lecturers on the United States of Africa. In 1995,
he was made a traditional king in Ghana. And Asante has also trained journalists in Zimbabwe and was the mentor to the first group of liberated journalists from Zimbabwe Institute of Mass Communications. He is the international organizer for Afrocentricity International, a global African organization involved in establishing new pathways to African identity and culture, seeking to create a global consciousness. And just before turning it back to Uncle Sizwe and Brother Ifo, I just want to say, as a member of Halifax's Afrocentric Learning Institute of Nova Scotia, I am very honored and humbled to accept this award on behalf of my brother, Dr. Molefi Kete Asante, when he called me this week to ask me to do that. Of course, I was, as I said, I was indeed humbled because we have a long history. Dr. Sante has a long history with us here in Nova Scotia, a long history of mentorship and support for Nova Scotians dating back to 1992, when a group of us invited him to come to Nova Scotia to speak. And since that time, he has been invited multiple other times to present here by University of King's College, by Mount St. Vincent University, by the Nova Scotia Department of Education, and many times as when I was serving in a role to the province, I had him come here multiple times to meet and work with educators in Nova Scotia. And he is phenomenal. Whenever I talk to him, I usually talk to him often enough. And he remembers everybody. He asks by name of various people. You as well, Brother Uncle Sizwe, and you as well, Dr. Lynn Jones. He asks about Karen Hudson. He asks about Dr. Harvey Miller. He asks about various people. He remembers Barb Hamilton, who accompanied me to Philadelphia when Dr. Asante established Afrocentric International and asked Nova Scotia to create a chapter, which I serve as the Shanuti to lead that chapter for Nova Scotia. So he loves us dearly, fondly. He always wishes us well in all that we do. And so it was an honor and a fitting choice to have him receive this award, Uncle Sizwe, because of his long-standing relationship, not just with ourselves, but with Nova Scotians in general, and all that he has done internationally, globally, on the continent, in the United States, and everywhere African people are, and even going to places like China and other parts of the world to teach about African history and culture and to bring our knowledge to many continents around the world. He's spent many times in Brazil, etc., and other parts of South America, Mexico, you name it. Dr. Sante has gone there to share our African knowledge and significance as part of the human family. So without further ado, on behalf of Brother Dr. Molefi Kete Asante, accept this award on his behalf. I know that he will cherish it, because whenever he has the opportunity to be honored as he so deserves by his sisters and brothers in Nova Scotia, he is always truly, truly happy. So on that note, I would say thank you once again.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Delvina Bernard. I just want to add just a tidbit that in the I think it was the late 1980s, I visited Dr. Asante at Temple University. Actually, I visited him twice. On the first occasion, I was obviously elated that he gave me an appointment, this great man, and I got to the Temple campus. It's a huge campus, and I wasn't quite sure how to get to his office. So I asked a young student, a Black female student, for Dr. Asante's office. I said, do you know? She said, oh, yes, I do. In fact, she said, I'm going towards the building. We can walk together. So I was, so we started walking towards his building, and she said, oh, as a matter of fact, I'm in his program. Now you have to realize that at that time, he was director of the African American Studies program at Temple University. And in no time, he had developed the program to the point of offering a PhD studies, the level, you know, a level of studies at the PhD level, the first in the whole United States, and easily to say the whole world, because, you know, Afrocentric education in those days, well, didn't exist except for what he and a few other people were doing. So as we were walking towards his building, she said, oh yes, I'm in his program. So I said, and how is it? And she stopped, and a change came over her. And the gist of what she had to say in terms of going through his program is summed up in Amazing Grace. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. That was the gist of what she had to say with regard to his Afrocentric program. Okay. The other quick anecdote I want to give you is also in Philadelphia, not all that far from the Temple campus, is the Zion Baptist Church. It's a big church. It's big, and it has a huge congregation. And I was driving past the church on Broad Street on a Saturday morning, and I looked over to the church, and I saw a lot of people coming out of the church. And I looked, and I realized a good number of some of them had graduation gowns on. And I stopped just to check out what's going on. And what was going on is that there was an intellectual activist in Philadelphia in those days called Reverend Dr. Leon Sullivan. And he had a program of a cultural program which is really inspired by Molefe Asante's Afrocentricity, of helping young people, of turning young people around, okay? So here it was on a Saturday morning, Dr. Sullivan had run this program sponsored by the church, and the program was over, and this was the graduation of those that were students or participants of the program. So I stopped, and I got out of my vehicle, and I looked, and I asked one of the young people that was in graduation garb, what's going on? And in fact, it was this guy that explained to me what it was all about. And I said to him, so how was it? And his response was the carbon copy of the other student, you know? I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. So sometimes, I mean, the impact of the ideas and the work of this man is just immeasurable. So now, I don't know if you can see a close-up of this. Ifo,
Lift it up a little bit so people can see it more. Yes,
is that good?
that's much better.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes,
Can
we can see
everybody
it
see
now.
it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Okay, this is his certificate, which will be sent to him, and of course, we hope he'll frame it and put it in a cherished corner of his office. But Delvana, do you have the words to the certificate?
I don't know that I do.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Okay.
Hopefully I can, my voice will.
Can you
Okay,
read it
I'm
for us?
going to have Kanika just read the inscription on the certificate. I could do it, but my eyes, well, we'll talk about my eyes at another time.
Okay, everybody ready to listen? This AHU Prosperity Award for exemplary leadership in furthering our collective prosperity is presented to Nana Molefi Kete Asante in recognition of your significant contributions in improving the lives of African descended people locally, regionally, and globally. We congratulate you on this singular achievement and wish you continuing success in furthering this noble imperative. Endorsed for African Heritage Universe by J.S. Demba, August 22nd, 2020, City of Halifax, Province of Nova Scotia, Dominion of Canada.
Okay, thank you, Kanika. So this will be couriered over to Delvina physically, and it will be on its way to Dr. Asante. Okay, it's been slipped onto the cover of a binder, and the binder is a program for Afrocentric cultural schools, which was designed, sponsored by the African Heritage Universe, and the intellectual inspiration for this program is Dr. Asante. Okay, the need for the program was identified by a lady called Viola Kane in North Preston, which for those of you who don't know is the largest original Black community in the whole of Canada. So that also will be going, the binder also will be going to Dr. Asante, because really, in a sense, it is his offspring. So on its way to you, Delvina.
Thank you. And I also just wanted to, as an addendum, say for those who aren't familiar with Dr. Asante's relationship to Nova Scotia, that it was Dr. Asante